Major League Soccer has lots of elite talent looking to make a name for themselves. Whether it be their rookie season, they're looking to make the starting 11, or they want to prove that they're good enough to make it to Europe. I set out to identify one player from each MLS club that you should be keeping your eye on this season. Starting, of course, with Atlanta United, I have Caleb Wiley, who at only 17 years old made a significant impact for Atlanta last season at the left back and left midfield position. Atlanta weren't very good last year, obviously, but Wiley stood out. This year, he's trying to make a name for himself and prove that he's good enough to be in that starting 11 and be a quality MLS player. He's been started at the left wing by Gonzalo Pineda these first two games of the season, which makes it even more interesting to me because I didn't expect him to start over Derek Etienne. And so now the question is, where does he start? And is he good enough to start on any of those left-sided positions, because he can really play any of them? Moving over to the Western Conference and Austin FC, I've identified Owen Wolff. After recording nearly 1,000 league minutes last season, he is now a starter for Austin FC at only 18 years old in that double pivot next to Daniel Pereira. As the coach's son, his father, Josh Wolff, of course, taught him all the soccer education that he needs growing up, and it's very clear he has the talent to match. So when you have those two things, in my opinion, your ceiling is very, very high, and I can't wait to see what Owen Wolff can produce. Up next are Charlotte FC, and the player that I'm keeping my eye on has to be 20-year-old center back Hamady Diop, who was, of course, the #1 overall super draft pick this season. And though he hasn't been in a matchday squad yet for Charlotte, they have center back problems, of course, after the very unfortunate death of Anton Walkes, RIP, and they brought in Bill Toiloma, but I don't think that's really solving their problems just yet as they continue to concede goals early on this season. So Charlotte fans, please let me know, what do you think is going to happen with Hamady Diop this season? Do you think he's going to be able to make that matchday squad? Let me know in the comments because I would love to see him in MLS. So I'm going to keep my eye on Hamady Diop this season. Over in Chicago, there's only one player I'm keeping my eye on this season, and that is the next Gaga Slanina, Chris Brady. The 18-year-old goalkeeper is following the same trajectory, being extremely hyped, 18 years old, in Chicago, and probably won't be there long, just like Gaga wasn't, because he also has European clubs swarming around him. I am very, very excited to see what he can bring. All the hype is there, so show me what you got, Chris Brady. But the one thing I will say is we have to avoid comparing everything he does to Gaga Slanina, because that simply wouldn't be fair to Chris Brady. In FC Cincinnati, I'm going with another player who is one of the most polished players on this list, 22-year-old goalkeeper Roman Celentano, who had a fantastic debut season last year for FC Cincinnati. But this year, I want to see if he's good enough to prove that he is elite in this league, and if he does that, European clubs will come calling. If not, he'll still be a quality MLS level goalkeeper and probably stick around in Cincy for a long time, potentially even becoming a club legend. So I don't really think there's a downside for Roman Celentano, but I will absolutely be keeping my eye on him to determine if this is the year that he proves he's ready to go to Europe, or this is the year that he proves not quite. Over in Colorado, they have one of the most exciting players on this list, in my opinion, in 18-year-old striker Darren Yappy. He is fast, he is strong, he is a clinical, true number 9, and that is not something that you see a ton of in MLS and really American soccer as a whole. And in about a month, the US U20s go to the World Cup, and Darren Yappy has to be on that roster for me, because with the U.S. men's national team looking for a striker, you have to give these type of players opportunities and see if we have a true number 9 within our ranks somewhere. Darren Yappy could be that guy. So mark my words, this will be his breakout season in MLS. I just want to see how good he can be. The Columbus Crew have tons of options to pick here, but I'm going to go with 23-year-old center back Philip Quinton, who has now taken the starting job after, of course, Jonathan Mensah left to San Jose. Quinton has been called up from Crew 2 this season and has been fantastic in the Crew's 2 opening matches of 2023. In those first 2 games for the Crew, he ranks either first or second on the team in touches, blocks, recoveries, clearances, and interceptions. The Crew defense looks a little bit shaky early on, but hopefully he can help stabilize it, and I'm very eager to see what he can do in his rookie season. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and want more MLS content from an actual MLS journalist here on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button and help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers so I can continue to make these type of videos for you all. Thank you so much, and back to the video. DC United is an easy one because, of course, I am picking the 21-year-old attacking midfielder Theodore Kudipietro, who came on in the DC United season opener to assist the Christian Benteke equalizer in stoppage time before scoring the 98th minute winner. It made for an incredible finish and ensured that the entire league will have their eyes glued on Theodore Kudipietro whenever he plays this season. Over to FC Dallas, and despite historically having the best academy in the entire league, I don't really have any academy products in Dallas that I'm super excited about at the moment. We know what Pamical and Cerrillo are at this point, so I'm going to go with Nkosi Tafari, the 25-year-old center back, slightly older than most on this list, so it's not about him entering the league or his rookie season, obviously. But I think it's about establishing himself as a quality MLS defender at this point, now that he has the starting job due to the departure of Matt Hedges. I think that he can prove to everybody he is a quality level MLS defender, and so let's all watch it together as he proves that this season. Houston Dynamo made a significant TAM signing this offseason that I don't really think anybody is talking about, so I am going to be focusing on 25-year-old attacking midfielder Amine Bassi, who came over from FC Metz in Ligue 2, but I think that he could be a real difference maker for Houston as they are looking for that creativity. He has been able to produce in Ligue 2 for FC Metz. He has been able to produce in the English Championship. I'm eager to see what he can do in MLS. We've barely gotten to see him for a half an hour in the second game as he is coming back from injury, but it's a big TAM signing. They paid $1.5 million for him, and nobody seems to be talking about him. So Amine Bassi, show me what you got. For Sporting Kansas City, the player that I'm keeping my eye on this season is 20-year-old Caden Pierre, who should be Graham Zusi's heir in that right back position. He got called up last season to the first team, racking up 9 starts, but now this season with Graham Zusi at 36 years old, you would expect the rotation to come and Caden Pierre to get even more minutes. At 20 years old, he is highly touted, highly thought of, and so I think it'll be very, very entertaining to watch his progression this year and watch him prove that he is good enough to fill those big boots of Graham Zusi. For the defending champions LAFC, the player that I'm keeping my eye on this season is 20-year-old Stipe Biuk, who is a dynamic left winger that can shift either side. He loves to take on his defenders 1v1, very direct, very dynamic. He comes from historic Croatian side Hajduk Split and comes for a nearly $7 million fee to the defending champions, so it is not a transfer to be taken lightly. He is a U22 initiative. He was also a 2022 Golden Boy finalist, so the fact that LAFC were even able to bring him to MLS says a lot, and I can't wait to see what he can bring to this league. Moving to their rivals, the player that you need to be keeping your eye on from LA Galaxy this year is undoubtedly 19-year-old center back Jalen Neal. And perhaps it's my LA bias, but next to Stipe Biuk, Jalen Neal is the player that I am most excited about on this list. I first got to see Neal live in the Leagues Cup showcase where I thought he was stand out before I saw him in the U.S. men's national team January camp where he got his first call-up in friendlies against Serbia and Colombia. But really think about that for a second, because he made his U.S. men's national team debut before his MLS debut. I think that really tells you how fast the rise of Jalen Neal can be, and I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if he is starting for LA Galaxy by the end of this season. He certainly needs to bulk up, but that is a relatively easy problem to solve, while he reads the game very well for a teenager and has the passing eye of an elite modern center back. European clubs will come calling very soon, so watch and enjoy an MLS while you can. For Inter Miami, I would have chosen 18-year-old left back Noah Allen if he hadn't torn his MCL in preseason, so instead I will pick his academy teammate, 18-year-old central midfielder Benjamin Cremaschi. He scored 5 goals and an assist in 13 MLS Next Pro matches before making his debut for a total of 1 minute off the bench this season. He is very highly touted in MLS journalist circles though, and I hear really, really good things about him, so I'm excited to see what he can bring. Over to Minnesota United, and I've cheated a little bit here by picking 2 players, but you'll see why. The first of which is Patrick Weah, the 19-year-old right winger, of course the son of former Ballon d'Or winner George Weah and brother of U.S. men's national team right winger Timothy Weah. But Patrick signed for Minnesota at only 17 years old in 2021 before being quickly loaned out to Sacramento Republic and then promptly tearing his ACL, missing all of last season, and finally returning ahead of this 2023 season, fit and ready to go for Minnesota United. The second player is Cameron Dunbar, the 20-year-old right winger, a product of the LA Galaxy Academy, has produced consistently quality numbers in the USL over the past 2 seasons, but has only been able to crack about 300 first-team minutes in that time. This offseason, Minnesota decided to bring him in from Galaxy for the price of a third-round super draft pick and an incentives-based $75,000, which to me only makes this more interesting. Neither player has gotten a single minute yet in 2023, but I anticipate one of them has to become a minutes guy off the bench. So the question I have for you is, will it be Patrick Weah, who has all the footballing legacy and heritage of that family, or will it be Cameron Dunbar, who has actually proven his ability to produce numbers at the USL level, but hasn't shown it yet in the big time? I can't wait to see this battle all year long, and let me know in the comments who you think is going to win it. In Montreal, they're looking for that next crop of youth talent after they sold all of theirs, and the guy I think is leading that next group is Nathan Saliba, the 19-year-old central midfielder, can play a more offensive role as he did in the Montreal opener, or a more defensive role as he did against Austin. He looks, though, because of that versatility, to be ready to get significant minutes for Montreal this season, and has the ability to crack that Canada youth national team setup once again, which he hasn't done since the U15 level. For me, the opportunity is there for him. The question is, can he take it? On to Nashville SC, and I really don't think there's anybody to pick here, so I guess I'll go with Shaq Moore since he has only played 14 matches in MLS. I guess the one question that they do have about him is, can he start contributing going forward in that attacking final third? Other than that, I think we all know how good Shaq Moore is. He's a locked starter in the Nashville side and one of the better fullbacks in the entire league. So I'm sorry, but there was just nobody else to pick. Over to New England Revolution, where my pick is 17-year-old Esmir Barakterovic, who turns 18 in a couple days, maybe 18 by the time that you're watching this, but he made his MLS debut last season, and with the ability to play on either wing or even drop into an attacking midfield position, I think that will help him find minutes in a place that might not be easy to get those minutes. He scored 1 goal in 3 games in his time with the US U19s, and I can't wait to see what this 18-year-old can bring to MLS if he can get those minutes. I hope that he can make the entire league learn how to pronounce his name, because honestly, Still not quite sure how to do it. On to New York City FC, where my pick is 18-year-old right back Matija Iljanic, who is the backup to 20-year-old Tavon Gray, who's of course a very talented young fullback in his own right. But Iljanic really impressed on full debut against Chicago, and we never know with Tavon Gray, who could get snatched up in the summer and push Iljanic into that starting position. But either way, New York City paid about $1 million for the Slovenian youth international, and he brings even more intrigue to the club. Across the river in Jersey, for the New York Red Bulls, the player I'm going to be keeping my eye on is undoubtedly 17-year-old right winger Serge Ngoma, who made his debut last season, scoring 2 goals in just 130 minutes of play. He is currently injured right now, but expected back in about a month, and really there's no telling the type of impact that Ngoma can make. I see him coming off of the bench, consistently producing and making a difference for that Red Bulls team, potentially finding some very important match winners or equalizers to get those crucial points for the Red Bulls. And at 17, he has an extremely high ceiling, so you need to be keeping your eye on Serge Ngoma in 2023, just as European scouts will be. Over in Orlando, the player that I'm keeping my eye on this season is another super draft pick, this time the number 2 super draft pick, Shak Mohammed, the 19-year-old hyped winger out of Duke, who left after only 2 seasons in college. He now was picked up by Orlando, who gave up Rouen in the trade to get that number 2 pick, which tells you how highly they think of Shak Mohammed. I cannot wait to see what he brings to this league. Philadelphia Union, in my opinion, have historically the second best academy in all of MLS, so this is the second and last time I'm going to cheat by picking the academy kids from Philadelphia. That includes Jack McGlynn, Quinn Sullivan, and Brandon Craig, who are all either 18 or 19 years old. I think in that midfield might be a little bit easier to get minutes for Quinn Sullivan and Jack McGlynn to make that impression, but all 3 are very highly thought of, and all 3 are being scouted by multiple European clubs, so I can't wait to see what they can each produce. And as far as Brandon Craig, I would actually like to see him go out on loan to another MLS club, since that is now allowed. I love that, first of all, and also since I don't think he's going to be getting a ton of minutes in that very, very strong Philadelphia defense, I think it could be very useful to loan him out, get him first team minutes, and bring up his price tag for those European clubs that are going to buy him in the next year or 2. Of course, these 3 also have U.S. men's national team ambitions, and so if you're a fan of the youth national teams, or of course the men's national team, you should absolutely be keeping your eye on all 3 of these players to see if they're going to be good enough to make it to that first team one day. For Portland Timbers, I'm picking potentially the most polished player on this list, 20-year-old right back Juan David Mosquera, who commanded nearly a $2 million transfer fee from Independiente Medellin. He made his debut for Portland late last season, but he came in so late that he's basically a new signing this year. He has a goal and an assist through his first 2 matches this season, which is exemplary of the type of contribution that he is capable of. And although Portland just signed him, I do not expect him to be in MLS for very long, so enjoy him while you can, because that price tag is going to just skyrocket. Over to Real Salt Lake, and one of my personal favorites, 19-year-old attacking midfielder Diego Luna. I have been following him since his time in USL at El Paso Locomotive, and I think he is an absolute star. He is creative, dynamic, always looking for that forward pass, always wanting to make things happen for his team. He is as close to a true number 10 as I think we really see anymore, and I thought that RSL's formation was going to limit him since they didn't really play with a true 10 last season. However, they shifted to a 4-2-3-1, which made me very happy because it means that Diego Luna can come in for Damir Kreilach in that attacking midfield, basically number 10 position, and be able to get that freedom, pick up pockets, and create for RSL going forward. Luna did play 13 games last season, but I am very, very high on this player, and I fully believe this will be his breakout season. So if you trust me, keep your eye on Diego Luna. For San Jose Earthquakes, the player that I'm keeping my eye on is 22-year-old left winger Oseni Buda. The Stanford product got about 100 MLS minutes last season, bagging a goal, and got double the minutes and double the goal contributions in the Cup. He may be considered a little bit old for a youth talent, but coming straight out of college and very, very highly thought of in San Jose, I can't wait to see what he's able to produce. And if Kokanovic goes to Ajax Athens, as he has been rumored to go, or really anywhere else, that would open up a big slot for Buda to fill and get the minutes that he needs to prove himself in MLS. In Seattle, the player that I'm keeping my eye on this season is 100% 17-year-old central midfielder Obed Vargas, who became the second youngest player in MLS history when he debuted 2 seasons ago, still aged 15. He played 17 matches at only 16 years old last season for Seattle Sounders in all competitions, including being trusted enough by his manager Brian Schmetzer to sub him in the Champions League final for the injured João Paulo, a game that Seattle, of course, went on to win 3-0 in order to lift that CONCACAF Champions League trophy and become the first MLS club to do so. But Obed Vargas did not miss a beat in that game. And with João Paulo coming back this season, I hope that his minutes aren't limited too heavily, because he needs to be getting first team minutes and progressing as much as he possibly can, because Obed Vargas is one of the elite talents in this league. With expansion side St. Louis City SC, it is an absolute no-brainer. 17-year-old Miguel Perez, the central midfielder, is not only the first player to score for the St. Louis City Academy, but was also the first Academy product to sign for the first team, making his debut in the St. Louis City debut, getting 30 minutes in Austin before getting 4 more at home at City Park. He is absolutely the definition of one for the future, but I can't wait to see what he's able to bring to MLS at only the ripe age of 17. For Toronto FC, the player that I'm going to be keeping my eye on is 18-year-old striker Hugo Mbongwe, who made his MLS debut last season after scoring 10 goal contributions in 16 games in MLS Next Pro. And now, with Adama Diomande going down injured, I expect him to be getting significant minutes behind Ayo Akinola, and I can't wait to see what he's able to do up front for a very, very talented front three. Last, and honestly one of the least players that I'm excited about on this list, Ali Ahmed, the 22-year-old left back, of course Vancouver Whitecaps player, made 2 sub appearances last year and has 4 minutes so far this year. He does have, though, 5 assists in 15 matches in his time with MLS Next Pro, which is fantastic for a fullback. So maybe he has the potential, and I will be keeping my eye on him. If he's on the pitch, will make the games more interesting for Vancouver Whitecaps. But I honestly don't think he has quite the potential of some of the other players I've listed here today. So let me know which was your player that you think is your favorite, or that you think has the most potential, or maybe there was some player that you think has a ton of potential in 2023 that I didn't even talk about. Please let me know all of that in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like and subscribe button so I can continue to make more of these MLS videos for you all. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.